I'm so excited you were able to join us for another virtual interview series with an incredible industry professional. Today we have Bryan. You're going to get to hear all about his incredible career and learn more about the entertainment industry. So let's jump right into it. Bryan, it's so nice to have you today.
Thank you so much. It's been a little bit of a challenge to get here. But man, we've become friends, industry friends, acquaintances, in a very quick time, and I'm super excited to be here today. Um,
Yes, thank
Hopefully we
you.
can share some fun ideas and some background.
Absolutely. So, if you don't mind, would you take just a few minutes to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, and where you're from?
Sure. My name is Bryan Akers. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm the co-founder and chief visionary officer for the Backline company, a company that recently, over the past couple of years, has merged from 4 locations into one. And we provide Backline, which is musical equipment rental for concerts, tours, and festivals. Yes, not all bands bring their stuff.
That is such a great point. And it's something that a lot of people don't think of when you attend a concert. You just think that, the band travels with their own equipment, but that's not the case, is it?
It's not. It's not. In a brief nutshell, how this works is we get a contract or a writer that explains in great detail the drums the drummer wants, the
Mhm.
depth, the diameter, sometimes the color preference, the drumsticks they use, the guitars they want, the DJ gear, the pianos, the color of the pianos. We get all these things in great detail. And we have 4 warehouse locations, mostly in the Southeast. And we do our best to fulfill these requests no matter how wild. I mean, a lot of people have heard about like back in the 80s, I forgot what band it was, but they deep in the hospitality portion of the same contractor writer, they had green M&Ms in there. So if they showed up to their green room or to their backstage room and they saw the green M&Ms in a bowl, they knew that whoever they were working with that day paid attention to, their request. So we try to fulfill the request as much as possible. It doesn't always work out perfect, but we really, really strive to get it right.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I'm so glad that you shared that with us because, there's all different types of writers and different requests from artists. And this is just such an interesting part of the industry of you sharing with us today. So now I know you did not start out as a co-founder or a chief visionary officer. It takes a little bit of time to get there. So would you mind
Yeah,
sharing your journey from high school to where you are today? Kind of take us through what that looks like.
absolutely. Happy to do that. High school, I was already, when I was in middle school, that summer of transitioning to high school, I was already playing in the high school jazz band. I was
Okay.
playing trumpet. And I was moving up pretty quick. I also quickly realized that I was doing a lot of memory work and not learning and ascertaining things. And so I kind of was outrunning my headlights in a lot of ways, but I also loved baseball. So I continued playing music, but I quit playing jazz band, focus on baseball, started playing in like little high school bands and stuff like that, like rock bands and stuff. And then eventually in Atlanta, hooked up with some guys and we recorded some music, had a band, we toured a little bit. I was working in a bar restaurant and really also, so I was touring, practicing music, and also working a lot, putting myself through young adult life.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to get out of the service industry. I was tired of going to bed at 5 in the morning after working all night. I was, tired of doing all that. So one of my regulars got me into the world of Backline, and I had no idea it existed. And one day he said to me, when you show up at a festival or an event and you sit behind the drums and the drums are already there? And I said, yeah. He said, that's Backline. And I was like, oh my God, that exists? So I went to work at the same company that he worked at in Atlanta. And then from that day on, I worked there for 9.5 years. First just starting out as a new guy in the warehouse, in a couple of years became sort of a salesperson, then started managing the company, and just kind of growing and then doing big festivals and stuff like that. And then back in 2014, I had a partner when we first opened, and we branched off and started a company called Atlanta Backline Company.
Mm-hmm.
2018, we had an opportunity for a guy was retiring in Charlotte that we did work with, and so he's sold us that. I mean, we weren't really trying to become a multi-city, multi-location entity, but it just kind of happened organically, and here we are. We're in Atlanta, Asheville, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and New Orleans.
That's
So that's kind
amazing.
of a quick little thing. So yeah, high school jazz band, like rock and roll bands with my friends, baseball in the mix there, playing oh, and actually in the early 2000s I went from playing trumpet, I hadn't played it in years at that point, to I started playing drums and tenor saxophone because the band I was in needed both.
Yeah.
I started taking lessons and all this stuff. So bands into working behind the scenes, and I love it. It's a lot
I
of it's a lot of hard work, pretty a lot of stress, but it's manageable, so
I think that's awesome. And one thing that you mentioned is that one of your regulars, it sounds like somebody you had developed a relationship with really kind of got you into this industry. And that's a point I always like to make with students is how important networking is. And so would you say that networking has really helped you to grow your business?
absolutely, absolutely. I think, and now with people learning at a young age
Hmm.
that this type of industry exists, whether it's backline or video or lighting or whatever, I
Hmm.
had no idea it existed. I just thought that who knew? I didn't know how any of it worked. But I think that people learning at a young age in high school combined with networking and friends is just I don't think there's anything better. I mean, I did mine just by networking and just bumping into people. I like talking to people. But if you also come to it with a knowledge already,
Hmm.
I think there's no stopping you.
Yeah. So I know everyone, I mean, a lot of times we think like when you become adults, it's going to be easy and but everyone runs into obstacles. There's always going to be road bumps along the way. And so, would you mind sharing, some of those obstacles you may have faced and how you overcome those obstacles? What advice would you have for students that will ultimately face some obstacles in their future as well?
Yeah, there's a lot. You'll quickly experience that in this industry. This industry is a lot of people say hurry up and wait. So you
Yes.
gotta be here, but then there's a lot of downtime. And for me, one thing that I've had to learn and take a lot of time with is I'm sort of a yes person. I am not in the business to be a no person. Uh,
Mhm.
we can figure it out. And that's gotten me into some predicament sometimes. But I've also been able to work with people along the way. That's been helpful. Um, I think that learning to be able to lean on people to get to gather their expertise, to get them to help, to ask for help is okay. To let somebody know that you need help is it's great actually. The more communication that you can have about it, about learning your expertise, no matter what it is. There's thousands of people ahead of us that have done it. They've done it a lot harder than we have. And so leaning on people for that information and to help you grow is, I think, super important. And also, when you get into a position where maybe you're managing or maybe you're working with other people, guiding them, you've got to be able to delegate and be okay with that too. So there are people there who want to help. Like, I don't like accounting. I can do it. I can't stand it. And then it took me a long time to realize I need to hire an accountant. And the day that I did, life got better. So there's
Yeah.
people there that you can lean on for information, and there's people there that you're going to be working with that want to do the stuff that maybe you don't love. And so being able to delegate and listen and communicate is super important.
I think that's such great advice. And it's hard for people to ask for help at times. And so I love that you shared that. I mean, it truly does make a difference. We talked earlier about how you didn't really know what backline was when you were in high school, and I'm sure you've worked in the industry for quite some time now. You've probably discovered other career paths that you didn't know existed when you were in high school. Would you mind sharing some of those career paths with students who may be interested in working in the entertainment industry, but maybe feel like they're not, musically talented, but they could plug in
Sure.
other areas?
Yeah, I mean, it just in our backline ecosystem at the backline company. I mean, we have brand new people. We have people who've been working for decades in this industry as like warehouse um, managers and warehouse people who assemble the orders, pull the orders, this sort of thing. We have people who didn't know this industry existed, but they're brilliant with electronics. So now we have them fixing our equipment. Super important, super important. I mean, we even have some people that are really talented in things like upholstery and cleaning stuff. So when your gear gets damaged, that stuff comes in handy. And also around this, there's a lot of things too. People come into this via being a stagehand.
Mhm.
And a stagehand is a person who is kind of a utilitarian person for that day. A lot of these people, these guys and gals, can get so much done, and they are brilliant. And then around this being a backline person, I've grown into a few other things where I've toured with some artists as a stage manager or production manager or a tour manager. And those, like, stage manager, you can look at it as like you're overviewing the stage, making sure it's safe, making sure the show runs on time. You don't have to have equipment experience. It's
Mhm.
nice to, the bigger the shows get, but that's why you have people like backline technicians. Let them do their job. That's why you have audio technicians. Let them do their job. And you're just making sure it's safe and runs on time. And then you have a production manager who oversees the whole venue of all of the working parts that's going in. And then a tour manager, that person is so critical. And if they've got organizational skills, communication skills, and some computer skills, you don't need any of the other experience. I mean, just in this small little piece of the puzzle, there's a lot that you can do as a person. You don't have to play a trumpet or a drum set or know how to build it. There's so much around it. It goes on and on and on. Hospitality and catering and everything else. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And a lot of times when we go to a concert and see, the performance aspect, we don't really realize how many people it takes to put that on. So I'm glad that you shared with us and just reiterating the fact that there are so many careers in the industry. If you love music, there's definitely a place for you to plug in and be a part of the music scene, even if you don't perform music. So.
Yeah, I mean, and just briefly to give you an example of how many people it takes, I used to tour with an artist. It was him, six dancers, a 5 or 6 piece band. So you're looking at about 12 performers.
Mhm.
There was about 88
Wow.
people that toured all like throughout the summer as direct support to make all this happen. So
Amazing.
you've got over 100 people, several buses, several tractor trailers, just to do that 60-minute show that you may see in
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
amphitheater. So
That's amazing. It sounds like an exciting career, something different every day. A lot of travel involved. I always encourage students when thinking about their future plans to really think about what type of lifestyle, you want to pursue as well. Not just, how much money you want to make or anything like that, but um so I think that's amazing. So one of my favorite questions to ask is, as we get older and as we work in these different industries and gain experience along the way, what is something that you wish you would have learned at a younger age? And it could be anything, career related or just life in general.
yeah. God, there's so much. I'm still learning stuff every day. How to hit a curveball. No, I think that really, honestly, truly, I think it's how to delegate
Mhm.
and help the people who want to help you get through a project, get through this other side because I think I could have gotten a long way a lot quicker had I
Mhm.
been able to do that, understood that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's great advice. And then lastly, this question is specific to your career path. You know, a lot of students may have just learned about Backline for the first time today.
Mhm.
If there's students out there that are interested in this career path, working in this sector of the industry, what advice do you have for them? Actionable advice, something that they could do today while they're still in high school to really kind of jumpstart that career path. What's something they could do and learn more about?
So while people watching this video may not know until this very moment that Backline exists or what it is, the good news is there are backline companies, big and small, all around the world, right? We're actually helping a company right now in Manila, Philippines, by sending them some stuff that they didn't have for this particular show that's happening this week. But there are companies literally everywhere. It may just be a person who owns a drum set and a bass amp and a couple Fender Twins.
Yeah.
Um, and it may be there's some just huge companies all over the place, and you can actually a lot of these companies need help, and
Mhm.
that's hopefully why we're here, and we hope that we're going to see the next generation who's coming to take our place be much more educated about it at a younger age and have a lot more support.
Yeah.
So a lot of these companies like my own, we're looking for people, we're looking for younger people, we're looking to train, and a lot if you reach out to these companies in your own area, a lot of them would be willing to let you come and kind of apprentice with them to kind of learn and to be a fly on the wall. We're our genre and this industry, it's kind of like the circus, we say, but it's very flexible. It's sometimes a little it's much more lenient than a lot of places. You get to dress how you want for the most part and that sort of thing. So I think it would be easy for anybody to get involved if they really wanted to, no matter how much experience they have.
Yeah, and sometimes it just takes the reaching out, right? I know a lot of times that young people just don't know where to start, but certainly, do a Google search and find out what those
Yeah,
companies are in your community and just reach out and ask if you can come volunteer or observe, and it's the best way to get experience. So,
yeah. Hey,
yeah.
and if there's not a backline company in your area, start one. You
Yeah,
can
there
start
you
small.
go. I love it. I love it. Well, Bryan, I have so much enjoyed chatting with you today. You've shared some wonderful information. Is there any last words of wisdom you want to leave with students today?
You know, Getting in this industry is exciting. There is the travel, there's all this stuff, there's a lot of challenges, but it is so enjoyable. It's so much fun. I've got so much family now that I spend a lot of time with. Next year will be 20 years for me in this industry.
Oh,
And I wish I had gotten to start earlier.
yeah.
Started when I was 27. And so, yeah, I think that just grasp it, enjoy it, and hang on.
Oh, I love it. And you're never too young to start. I mean, every community out there has events, concerts, music. I mean, even if it's just a small show, you can certainly get involved with that. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. If you're interested in learning more about entertainment, music, the sports industry, definitely check out our full library of interviews on our website. Thanks, guys.